Lydiah Ngwiri from PCEA Ongata Rongai, Counselling Department. And today I'm going to talk about work and finances, having in mind that some people are going through a lot of stress and a lot of worry at this particular time, as well as fear over some issues, and especially job loss. There are some people that have lost their jobs, and others are thinking about how they are going to lose their jobs. Others have already been deducted their salaries, and others have lost their salaries. Others are worried about having to go to work under the curfew, and they are worried about getting the disease. Others have financial difficulties, especially because businesses have been closed down. Other businesses are not doing well. We have to pay rent. Others rely on that rent, and people are not ready to pay rent. Children are at home, and there is food that we need to have more than we usually use because they are at home. And of course, when people are at home, they eat more. And that brings a lot of worries. And my work today is to help us on what then should we do. And one thing that we should do, instead of worrying, we should maintain positivity. We should remain very positive. And I'm going to give a quote. Somebody said, everything in life is temporary. So if things are going well, enjoy it, because it won't last forever. And if things are going bad, don't worry. It can't last forever either. So there's nothing which is permanent in this world. Coronavirus will come and go. But how is it going to leave you? Therefore, forget powerlessness. Forget dejection. Forget despair. Forget failure. And focus on your strengths. Try to pick everything positive around you, because all things are not negative. You can pick something positive around you. For example, you are working at home. Others have no jobs. You have a salary cut. Others have been laid off. You have been laid off. You are alive. You have no money. You are not sick. Manage your resources wisely. This is not the time to spend over unnecessary items. Cut costs. Let us use money for basic needs, simple basic needs. Cheap foods, not very expensive. You are used to taking chicken. It is time now to turn to something else that will still give protein. For those of us that were planning on projects, it is time not to start new projects now, because we do not know for how long the pandemic is going to be with us. So let us save what we have for tomorrow. Look for ways of saving the little that you have. Be innovative. We can plant sukuma wiki instead of buying. We can plant onions instead of buying. We can plant dania instead of buying. And these are things that we can do even without shamba, because we can put in gunias and soil and buckets and soil and grow a few things that we can use instead of buying them. We can also keep a few chicken, and some people might wonder, when am I going to use the chicken? Remember, there will be issues to do with economy after the pandemic. So we need to get prepared for even after the pandemic. What are we going to do? This time for innovation. Necessity is the mother of invention. And it is time for us to think beyond the virus and start thinking of how we can benefit from it. History tells us that history has lessons for man. And actually, history has taught us. After the First World War, there was economic depression, and trade came to a standstill, and countries suffered because they could not import or even export. And as a result, some countries started their own industries because they could not import from Europe. We have already seen even in our country, now we can make our own masks, which before we are importing, because we have become more innovative. Ask yourself, what else can I do apart from what I do? Is it possible for me to start thinking of doing something else which can help me at this particular moment and even in the future? Focus on what you can change and forget about what you cannot change. Can you change working at home? No. Your workplace has said you work at home. The government has said you stay at home. So I cannot change that. But what can I do? I can make myself comfortable when I'm working at home. Minimize noise, minimize disruptions. Let your children know you are working and help them to understand what you are doing so that we can minimize that disruption and that noise. So all is not gone. We can make things better for ourselves. Those who are being disturbed by neighbors and they are working at home with loud noises, we can take a step of talking to our neighbors and letting them know we are working at home and we can make the environment conducive for us and for all of us. Even if I worry about going to work, can I change anything? I cannot change it. I only have to be careful so that I do what is expected of me. I keep my social distance and I wear my mask and I make sure that I clean my hands, what the government has been telling us to do. In the Bible, the book of Matthew, chapter 6 and verse 25 tells us, don't worry about things, food, drink, and clothing, for you already have life and a body, and they are far more important than what to eat and wear. So the fact that you are alive, the fact that you are breathing, that is more important than worrying about food, drink, and everything else. And even if you worry, is anything going to change? The same verse, the same chapter 6 verse 27 tell us, will all your worries add a single moment to your life? And I ask the same, will all your worries add a single moment to your life? It will not. And that's why we are saying, keep positive, be positive, do what you can, and what you can't, leave it to God. The best method to be able to deal with our mind is by self-talk, which has been talked about earlier. Talk to yourself. Remove the negative in your mind and put the positive in your mind by talking to yourself. Jiita mkutano, ujiongereshe na ujiulize. If I'm worried, then what happens? If I'm worried about my job, then what happens? I'm only going to add more issues into my life. I'm only going to add hypertension into my life. I'm only going to add thinking so much in my life, and it's not going to help me. So as we continue giving you more information, keep safe, and may God bless you. Thank you so much. God bless you.
The only way that you can find safety in the Lord, that in this time is determined by the state of your godliness.